All right, so we are here on the interface of Looker Studio, and today we will work on bar charts, or what you could also call column charts. So either bar chart or column charts. You could also represent them as horizontal bar charts. That's the one you call the bar chart, and then the vertical bar chart, which is now otherwise known as column charts. Okay, so before we go in, what is a bar chart? A bar chart is a chart or graph that represents categorical data with rectangular bars. These bars have heights in terms of vertical bar charts and length in terms of horizontal bar charts. And these heights or lengths are proportional to the values they represent. So they could represent 10,000 sales, 15,000 sales, or 20 million profits. That is the proportion of the value it represents. And at the bar, like I said, can be plotted horizontally or vertically. And a vertical bar chart is called the column chart, whereas the horizontal bar chart, it's called the bar chart. So now let's go in and find out what this is all about. To get a bar chart in Looker Studio, you come to add a chart, click on it, and this is a vertical bar chart or the column chart. And this is the bar chart or the horizontal bar chart. So so here we have the stacked bar chart, and we have the 100% stacked bar chart, or you can also call them the composite chart. Now we will start with one and go across the others, and it's going to be easy. Let's head on. So to get a bar chart, you click on the chart, drop it there, and it will definitely pick up measures and columns. So when it opens, it definitely picks up a measure or a matrix and the dimension to work with. Now it's up to you to know if that is what you want or you want to change it. So this is not what I want. Definitely I want to change it. It came with other ID as my dimension. So I'm going to pick up, I think let's keep it simple and pick up region. Go to other ID, place it there and replace it. So that's what happened. I am not okay with this. I think I will go for profit. So we go to profit and pick my profit, drop it there. All right. So and it has created a composite chart for us, but I will delete this one. And yes, so what I have is my metric is the profit, and the dimension is my region. Okay, so let's go in and start formatting this. When you hover around here, up here you will find select range, and then you will see show property, and that has to do the property of this bar chart. And you can also sort the bar charts. If you want more features, you go to the three ellipses, click on it, and you will find more features here. And some of the notable ones are the order, the sort, copy and paste, which of course you can use your keyboard shortcut. You can also delete here and select. It's up to you what you want. So this is our bar. As we stated, this is a column chart. Each bar represents a value, a proportional value to it. So and this represents 108,000 pounds. So the length or value of any bar is proportional to the value they represent. The central region represents 39,706 pounds. So let's move on. Then you can see it. This is plotted region against the profit, and the profit is in pounds. Like you can see it here, it's in currency. All right, so let's go to the right. Now on the right, this is the property pan, and on the property pan, you'll notice that this data is coming from the supply chain. And this is the date range we can always edit it, can work on it, and or remove it completely. You can also choose a date you want, so it's easy to work on the date range. This is a dimension we picked, which is the region, east, west, north, and south. And you can also include another dimension to this, and that is more like a drill down. When you enable this button, you are able to drill down to so many other dimensions. Now let's try and do it. So we have region here. Let's pick up something like category and add it to this. Now with this category, you notice we now have a new icon here known as the drill down. So because this category is on the second level and the region, the default dimension picked here is a region. The region will always be the dimension to show whenever you open your chart. And then from this region, you can actually go to category, and that is through the drill down. When you drill down, it goes to category, and it actually plots it still picks up the matrix while you try to move up and down of your drill down button. It maintains the matrix while the category changes. All right, so let's move on. This is on the category, and we can go up to region. Let's continue. You can add as many dimension as possible. All right, so let's continue. The next is breakdown dimension. Now you have this dimension here for region. You could decide to understand how this profit is broken down into different dimension based on into different categories based on the dimension you choose. So let's say we want to know the subcategory. That will be like the West by subcategory. So break down the West, we break down the region dimension into subcategory. And here we have about one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10 subcategory. And this region of the West is showing us that the copy has performed the most, and where the envelopes were the least performing in terms of profit. And when you come to the central, you notice that we record huge loss in accessories. We record huge loss in furnishing, then appliances, and of course the last is binders. So these are the places we recorded loss, and you can see how simple it is to actually use this beautiful tool to break down things. Now let's move on. We can decide to say, okay, so we have our metrics here, which is the profit we have been analyzing. We can decide to have an optional metrics, and let's go in and enable this. You see how fantastic this particular tool is. So our optional metrics, let's pick sales. All right, so I like sales. Let's see another thing we can pick, like profit margin. I think I've got profit margin here. That's fine. So these are optional metrics. As soon as we enable the optional metrics, you notice that the icon shows up here, optional metrics. And when you click on it, you start seeing all the metrics that we have actually brought in. And we have profit, and we have sales, and profit margin, and we select only one at a time. All right, so let's try and see what this looks like. Because as a user, as a consumer, you are not going to see the edit mode. You're definitely going to be on the view mode. So let's go to view mode and see how fantastic this look. Okay, so this is the view mode, and you can see I can't edit anything, but I can actually make some good analysis with this. Now imagine we want to analyze this by, sorry, want to do this on sales, we pick sales, and that will filter out. And you notice these are the sales, and the least sales it's coming from our envelope. So no wonder the least profit is also coming from it. And our most sales it's coming from our chairs and phones. All right, so perhaps we want to sort it by, all right, so we sort it by sales. It's already sorted by sales, and descending or ascending. Let's have it in. All right, so that's it. Okay. Um, I think I will prefer it the other way around. Okay, this is fine. So now you notice we can always go to any of our optional metrics and pick them. So in terms of the loss or profit margin, we recorded huge loss in terms of the margin with the binders. And in terms of profit margin, the most profit margin came from envelope. When you compare it to the normal profit, the most profit came from copiers. So it's how it depends on how you want to measure your business success. And profit margin is definitely a way to go to understand truly what the margin is in terms of the true profit that comes from each of your accessories. All right, so let's move on. I'll go back to edit mode and we continue our editing. So we have been able to get this, and of course, we sorted by profit. You can also have a secondary sorting by profit. So if we want to have a secondary sorting, it's better we go in and maybe make it sales. That's our secondary sorting. And also notice here that we have some. That's the metric we are using. You can actually go in there and change it to any of the metrics here. In to any of the aggregation here instead of the sum. By default, it is sum. You can also come in here and rename your field. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so we are here now. The date range, we have this discussed it. So you can actually add a filter to your work. We've got some filters here. So let's say we pick state filter, and this state, let's see what we defined it as. We said when the state is equal to Texas, this is where you add filter. You can also add another one here, or you can come and create a new filter here. So adding another condition, another one here means adding another condition. Otherwise, you can come and create a new filter. You can also delete this filter. And that is it on the setup. So I will go to style. So on the style, of course, I don't have a title. I can enable the title and name it sales by category, depending on what you want to name it. But because you want to, consider that you have optional metrics, you may want to give it a much more generic name, and you can format it. This is 18. I can give it 20, and maybe change it to I like using Arial and format it. So do whatever you want, give it any color you want. It's up to you. You can make it left, right, left align, center, or you can make it right align. And if you want your category, the the title to be up there, that's fine, and that's why this is selected by default. You can also have it at the bottom. That's also has to do with preference. All right, so let's send it to the back, to the top and the left. Okay, now we have the vertical bar chart. We can choose to make it a horizontal bar chart. That depends on your preference. As soon as we made a horizontal bar chart, the region became the y-axis, whereas the values, the profit, become the x-axis. That depends on what you want. And this has the capacity to give us maximum of 10 bars. And beyond the 10 bars, you can group the order. You can also increase it to 11 bar. Okay, that's 10. You can increase it to 11 or you can group it. So I'll leave it at 10. That's like, in case we have so many bars, you can say the first 10 performing one, the other, you can make the first 10 performing main ones and show them, and then the others you can group them. That depends on what your metrics are or what your business rules are for your measurements. So let's move on. We have 10 series, and of course, you can also do the same thing for your series, which are more like your metrics. Good. Now, what we have is this normal bar chart. We can also decide to stack the chart. You can have horizontal stacked bar chart. Just depends on what you want, and I'll leave it the way I want. So that way you don't need to bother yourself trying to start from any of from the stack chart. You can just start from the normal one and work your way to what you want. Okay, so let's move on to, you have color. So let's say we want to have only single color. We can have, because these are multiple colors. I personally prefer maximum of two colors for consistency and color and branding. So I will click here. So you can see how it picks different shades of the same color. And that helps you in analyzing what you want to analyze. But for those who have color issue, you could decide to go full-fledged with all the colors. And that's where all the, you can use the dimension color. You can also use the bar color. But then at this point, it's easy for you to choose the color you want for each, for you want to represent each of the categories, regions, and the subcategories. Okay, so I will keep it at where it is. Now with this dimension value, you can actually come in here and update the color here. So let's move on. And we also have another color here. Let's pick up this. So, and this color had to do with the border, if that's what you want. If you want the border, if you want the border to show, then you enable it. Okay, so let's move on. So this is reference line. If you want reference line, you can add a reference line. It's up to you what you want your reference line to be like. So you want a constant value. Let's say we want metrics, and that's the profit. And what is giving us, this reference line is giving us the average profit is at this point. Let's try to show the value, show the label. So our average profit is £5,512, and it shows you anything below it, it's less than what we want. But this is not a true measure, because some values, some some subcategories did not make as much sales at this level, so you cannot use this as a standard. You can actually use a profit margin if you want, but that depends on what you want. Okay, so of course you can decide to increase the line up to four. It just depend on what you want. If you want it maybe a solid line instead of dash, you can also have it as dotted. Just choose what you want. Okay, and that's the reference line. You can also use add a reference line band. You can also check that out. So I will move on. Show axis. You want to show the axis. So if I don't want to show the axis, I will disable it. Both the horizontal and the vertical axis, like the X and Y axis, are gone. If I want to show them, I show them. Do you want to reverse your Y direction? You can click here and it goes the other way. Or your X direction, you can click here and it goes the other way. It's just what you want. Okay, so if you want to align everything to start from zero, you can click here and then they will start from zero, which is actually very important sometimes to show the true presentation, the true value of what you are presenting. All right, so let's move on. If you want the width of your bar to, can increase the width of your bar. You can reduce the width of your bar depending on how you want. You can, or you can leave it at 100%. For the purpose of this, I think this is okay. And this is the group bar, so you can increase the width, just create more space and or push it to the end. But this doesn't really make more sense because they are grouped, so this will make more sense in terms of readability. Okay, so let's continue. So this is on the show left y axis. If you want to show your y axis, the label, you can say it's profit. You can see it here, profit, and you don't want to show it, remove it. And when you show it, you can then start, working on it. Okay, so let's remove it because I don't like it because it's definitely going to show on my title. So, and of course, this is for X axis. It's up to you what you want. Let's say this. This is the axis grid. Let's change it to like red so that you will see this. Every text in this bar in this chart changes to red, so you take note of that. Well, I like this because it helps with consistency with my work, so I'm resetting it. And here we can pick up the dark color to give us the grid line. if we really want it. Most times I don't want it, I keep it transparent. That's cleaner for me. So, but if you do want it, then you can start working on it. For this, you can start working on the font size and all those things. And of course, you can also have a kind of background. Let me create this one. So you can create background there. You can also create an outline for the background. You can see it by the side. Okay, so if you want now the legend, which are these, if you don't want legend, you can just disappear. You can just disable them. If you want them by the side, you can have them by the side here. And all right, so they are by the side here. If you want them under, you have them. And of course, they started with being on the top. Okay, so but for this type of chart, your legend is definitely important to help you interpret it. Okay, so let's move on. This is legend, depending on what you want it, center align, left or right align. On the background border, you can have background. That is the entire background. Let's use yellow so you see what I meant. Good. And then you can create that border. Let's use 20. See that curve, that border radius. You can also make it transparent, reduce the background, reduce the transparency and increase the transparency. And of course, you also can decide to give it a border of, let's use this color. And when we increase it, so you will be able to see it. I see it at the top. So these things are part of the design we have here. And that is it on this point. The other one is a chart header. Do you want it to show on hover, which is what I usually like. When I hover, I want it to show. I don't want it to just always be there, which is not some of the best practices. And that is it on the bar chart, stack bar chart, horizontal, vertical bar chart. It depends on what you want. Start from one, you move to the other. Now, what I'm going to do is to click out so that you will see what we have been able to achieve. So when I click out, first of all, let me collapse this property and collapse the data. When I click out, you see what we have been able to achieve. This is our work. And this looks amazing. Well, it's not beautiful because we are trying to see what we can do here. But this shows you a lot of things you can achieve with your bar chart. And guys, your creativity can actually be endless in what you can do. If you got value from this video, please consider giving this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. Share this video to anyone that you think will need it. Share it to your community, share it to your friend network, share it to your network, and remember to put any comments. Do you have any question? Do you think there's any other better way I could have done this? Just go ahead, comment. Is there anything I actually left out? Just let me know. And any idea you want us to create with Barchat, let us know in the comment section. If you are an existing subscriber, thank you so much. You guys are great. Thank you for your love. You are a great family. And if you have not subscribed, please consider joining this amazing growing family. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.